A very much so seaside episode. A walk along Felixstowe's seafront, down to one of the biggest ports in Europe, and onwards the next day to Southend-on-Sea. The beach huts here are on the market for around £20,000 and selling up to £70,000 in sought after spots. Essentially they're a garden shed. Felixstowe is home to a 4-mile beach with both family friendly spots and more rural stretches. The beach is sand and shingle and backed by the promenade. A £10 million scheme to protect Felixstowe from erosion and flooding that has included these rock groins has taken place. The groins trap sediments from longshore drifts so that the coast behind the sand layer is protected from erosion. The Spa Pavilion is a multi-purpose venue, includes a theatre, cafe, restaurant and bar, and dates back to 1909. The history of Felixstowe's seafront gardens extends back over 100 years, to when the cliffs were underdeveloped, grass-covered slopes leading directly onto the sandy beach below. As Felixstowe developed in the late Victorian era, the combination of the natural springs occurring at the base of the cliff, together with the proximity to the beach, prompted the creation of the gardens as a pleasure ground for people wanting to take a spa waters. The newly restored seafront gardens reopened in 2015 after being granted funding from the Heritage Lottery Fund. All that sea air, starting to feel hungry. Time for an all-day breakfast. Hamilton Road, the main shopping street, running from the town railway station down to Bent Hill. At the northern end of Hamilton Road, the triangle was acquired and first landscaped by the council in the 1930s. Such spaces are not common in this part of the town, and this one is well used by the local community. Its modern landscape treatment has a gazebo and seating area at the centre. Felixstowe Pier was built in 1905 with a total length of 2,640 feet. It served the Bell steamer fleet, which endeavoured to provide profitable excursions at a time when local steamers faced fierce competition from the increasingly popular railways. Once one of the longest piers in Britain, complete with electric tramway, transporting passengers and their luggage from end to end. The original cost of one-way journey was 1 pence. The cranes in the distance are of the Port of Felixstowe. The new pier head was opened in 2017 at a cost of £3 million. The pier decking extending over the sea remaining has been closed since around 1999 due to corrosion and rotten timber beams supporting the deck. There is another row of amusement arcades that I didn't film before arriving here. The Beach Street Box Park is created from Felixstowe's own recycled shipping containers, which has opened in phases over the last couple of years. Between 1805 and 1812, 8 Martello Towers were built on the Felixstowe Peninsula as a defence against a possible invasion by Napoleon's forces. This one is used by the National Coast Watch Institution. It's one of almost 60 stations that are operational and manned by volunteer watchkeepers around the British Isles. Felixstowe is not only a resort but also home to the UK's largest container port, with the River Devon to the north and the rivers Orwell and Stour to the south. The summer sees an influx of leisure craft from cabin cruisers and yachts to kayaks, paddleboarders and swimmers. The Port of Felixstowe is one of the largest in Europe. The port handles more than 4 million containers and welcomes approximately 2,000 ships each year, including the largest container vessels afloat today. With around 75 trains in and out per day across 3 dedicated rail terminals to 16 national destinations. Apparently it's a good spot for fishing. The water is deep, with the autumn and winter months producing good cod, as well as excellent sole and bass fishing at close range on a flood tide. Landguard Fort, designed to guard the mouth of the River Orwell, dating back to 1540. The fort was well used in the Second World War and the army left in 1957. Heading back to Ipswich for a relaxing evening in front of a television, a Chinese takeaway and a nice bottle of wine. Well, here we are on the outskirts of Ipswich. 2 days in and around Ipswich really. Day 9 now. Time's flying, only a couple more days left. Car was absolutely filthy, so we decided to give it a quick jet wash. There was only one in the queue, so I decided to have a go, and for a fiver it's looking much better. Couldn't see out of the wing mirrors really, and the side windows very well, so especially in bad weather and a busy road, not very safe, so we decided to give it a quick wash. So off to Southend-on-Sea now. Roughly 60 miles, just over an hour's journey time, so we'll be there for lunch. See you in Southend. A rather grey and overcast looking Southend. It's a resort on the Thames estuary in Essex that's just been granted city status. We're about 40 miles from London. The pier goes on forever, looking across the Thames estuary towards the Hoo Peninsula in Kent and Sheerness on the Isle of Sheppey. As you can see, it's the longest pleasure pier in the world. It stretches over 1.3 miles out into the Thames estuary. Pier trains run on a half-hourly basis. Currently an adult return costs £6.20. In the distance on the left is the Kursaal. It's a Grade 2 listed building which opened in 1901 as part of one of the world's first purpose-built amusement parks. It has a very distinctive dome. Unfortunately, it's been closed since 2020. Now it's time for a quick drink after all that exploring. Back to Premier Inn. A good sized room, new style. With a sofa, could be a twin room. Nice and clean. Plenty of space in here. And have we got our light above the bed? There it is, at last, the purple light. And the usual bathroom, sparkling, clean, decent size too. And even a view from my window. Burrs Fair pub next door, that'll come in handy later. The other side of the pier in the distance you can see the green liquefied natural gas terminal. By chilling a gas to minus 161 degrees centigrade so that it occupies 600 times less space than in its gaseous form. It's the largest terminal in Europe and the 8th largest in the world by tank capacity, which is 1 million cubic meters, with a site that spans over 600 acres in total. While I've been in the hotel, the wind had picked up and it got much cooler outside. Time for some food. My quest to find a popular pub was still failing, but it was nice and warm in here. Almost dark, and I decided to go into the town centre. Well, there had to be one. The last post, Witherspoon's pub, and of course this is where everybody was. It's also a 14-room hotel. Not difficult to guess, it used to be the city's post office. They start young in here, pushchair at the bar. The bright lights give the area a completely different feel. Back to the Brewers Fayre and a customary one before bed. Thankfully it doesn't flicker like that really. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, enable notifications so you don't miss the next episode. See you next time.